Hi, thank you for joining. My name is Percy. In this video, you're going to be learning how to calculate the area of any triangle, right? So first thing first, you need to able to understand what is a triangle, type of triangles. So you're going to go through all the 6 type of triangles that you need to know, and then understand the formula as well, how to calculate the area of a triangle, and that's what you're going to be learning today. So the formula of the area of a triangle in a geometric space is as follows: the area of a triangle, right? The formula is half times base times height. So those are the two important things. You need to be able to identify what is the base of the triangle, and need to identify what is the height of the triangle, right? So let's say you have a triangle that has no equal sides, right? So let's say you have a triangle that has no equal sides. So let's say probably this triangle looks like this for some reason. Assuming this triangle has no equal side, that doesn't look like a nice triangle. Let's say it looks like this, right? Assuming this triangle has no equal sides, there's no equal sides. So you have, this is just A, this is just B, this is just C. This is your triangle. So the first thing first that you need to do with this triangle, you need to able to identify the base of the triangle. So a base of this triangle can be any of these sides. Can be A, can be B, can be C. It's up to you. But what the tricky part here is, if you identify the base, then you need to then identify the height of the triangle. And after identifying that height of the triangle, that height of the triangle should be perpendicular to your base. So if I say, okay, cool, my base is B, therefore I need to identify height of this triangle where this height is perpendicular to B. So the height of the triangle will be essentially this line here, because I see this line is perpendicular to B, and then I call this line H. So the area of this triangle will be half times B times H, where B is my base of this triangle and H is my base of this triangle. So that's basically how you would do it. It depending on how you see it, right? For example, you can also identify A as your base of the triangle. Therefore, after doing that, then you need to say, okay, cool, if A is the base of my triangle, then can this be a line, the H line, where it is perpendicular to a triangle? That doesn't look like a perpendicular line really, unless you can prove it. But if you cannot really prove it, don't have to do that. But in this case, I will say B is a good base because it is a line that is perpendicular to H. So let's say now you have another triangle. Let's call this triangle, maybe all sides are equal now, right? All sides are equal. Still, that looks like horrible. I'm a bad triangle drawer. It seems. So let's say then all these sides are equal, all of them. So let's say A, this is A as well. This is A as well, right? So the way you then calculate this, it's simple as RB. It's simple. You need to be able to identify your base. Base is the same, all of them. So all the sides are the same. So whatever that you do, it's going to be the same. So if you take this side as your base, therefore you need to then draw your perpendicular line and call it H. So then the area of this triangle will be half times base, and then we say this is our base, A times our height, which is H. And that's your answer. Have a, I mean, if you are still confused a little bit, if say H, think of H as a unit. So let's say this is like 3 units and this is 2 units. Therefore, your answer will be half times 2 times H, which is 3, and then there's 3 square units. So your area is 3 square unit. Make sense? But the idea here that I want to show to you is you need to just identify yourself what is the base and what is the height. and it's gonna be the same. I'm gonna give you another one, an acute triangle, and I'm gonna give you an obtuse triangle, and yeah, and the rest is history really. So let's say you have um this one here, right? This is an acute triangle, right? I think we have probably need to start naming these triangles. So we said this is a triangle that has no equal size. It's known as a scalene triangle, right? And this is a triangle that has two equal sides. It's known as we said all sides are equal here, so it's known as an equilateral triangle. And this is a triangle. Now we're looking at a triangle that has all three equal sides. So if you have like angle here, all these angles are not are less than 90 degrees, right? So if all these angles are less than 90 degrees, then we call it an acute acute triangle. Okay, so this is an acute triangle. This is acute triangle. So again, never mind the fancy words, blah blah blah. That's not what I'm here for. But what I'm trying to show you is if you have a triangle like this and you're asked to calculate the area of this triangle, what you would do is you need to be able to identify your base. After identifying your base, then you need to find the height, and the height should be perpendicular to your base. And in this case, let's say you say my base is this here. Let's call it 5 units, and my height is this here. And if you can prove that this height is perpendicular, clean, I'm happy with that. Oh, I mean, someone can say, okay, cool, my base is this one here, and my height is here, and you can prove that. It is really up to you. So what I'm saying is you need to identify the base and identify the height, and if you can identify those two, then yeah, it's easy for you to calculate the area of that triangle. I hope I am making sense. I mean, even if you have like this confusing one here, let's say you have an obtuse triangle, right? Obtuse triangle. It's really, it looks creepy sometimes. Let's say you have an obtuse triangle, right? And then you say, okay, cool, this is my base. But with this one, you cannot really say this line here is perpendicular. I mean, you can already see it. This line is not really perpendicular to your base. I mean, come on now, right? It's not, right? But it is. If you can extend it like this, and you want to stick into it and say, okay, cool, this is my base, then you need to extend it and have a line, this line here, which is this line now is perpendicular to an extended line of B. Then this will be your height. Therefore, the area of this will be half times base, which is B times height. Or if you then say, okay, cool, no, this looks complicated, but this line here is perpendicular to this base here. So they say this is your base. And let's say call this base C, and let's call this line here A. Therefore, your area will be half times A times C. It's really up to you. So if you can identify the height, if you can identify the base first, then find a line that is perpendicular to your base. Therefore, then after that, you can able to calculate the height. The height of that triangle is half times A times C. Right. So this, by the way, this triangle, it's called obtuse triangle. An obtuse triangle is essentially an angle that one of the angles, so we have this angle here, one of the angles is greater than 90 degrees. I mean, this is an angle here, but one of them should be greater than 90 degrees. So yeah, that's an obtuse angle. So essentially, this is how you calculate an area of a triangle depending on what you have and what you're calculating, and all of those dependencies. What you need to identify is the base, and after identifying the base, you need to identify the height, and the height is the line that is perpendicular to your base. And if you can do that, therefore you can use the formula: area of the triangle is equal to half times that base times that height. Boom, and then you just get your answer, square unit. Yes, thank you. If you have any questions, if you have comments, please feel free to write it down. If you like this video, feel free to smash that like button. And if you're a new member, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. It's a lot that we were planning to do in this channel. The future is way bright, and we're trying to change how educational looks like, but we'll talk about them more as we grow together. Anyways, if you have questions and if you have things and suggestions and anything that you want to say, feel free to share them on the comments. I'll see you on the next video. Boom.